Welcome back, Mighty Mighty Souls. My name is Stephen Koss. I know it's been almost a month now since I've done a spiritual video. I was building a pavilion, lean-to shelter, 30 by 20, next door to go to the community garden, so there's a lot of days of labor involved. But during that time, it's some really amazing meditations. And I just want to do a little video about meditation connecting to the non-physical. So first, I just want to talk about what is meditation. You know what I mean? Like we say meditation, or it was an amazing time I had at I was in a class at USF, and a subs came in. It was the head of the market department, and he kept asking us questions. He's like, "No, define that. No, not define that." And every time it was like, "Well, you know what I'm talking about." But if you define things clearly, your vision can be more coherent. So meditation is just the calming of the mind, the rational mind, right? Because it's spinning with so many thoughts. And you're dropping that down and calming your thought process to states that are just above the unconscious or sleep. And by calming the mind, you're overcoming your biological makeup, your, we'll call it survival mode. And you're using breath to connect to higher vibrations. To connect to higher vibrational dimensions. Okay, so we'll look back at that. Meditation is calming the mind, the rational mind, almost to states of sleep, alpha, beta, and if you get to delta. Overcoming your biological makeup. If you're closing your eyes and you're just breathing and you're telling your mind to stop, the body's going to fight you on that. Well, why will it do that? Because if your senses are getting cut off, how is it going to protect you? So you have to fight over that. It's a very strange concept. And then you're using your breath, a soul's right to breathe, to connect to higher dimensions of vibration. Now let's define that too, because I'm going to need to write a little more, so we'll come back to that real quick. So why would you want to meditate in the first place? Let's ask that question. Well, one is a stress relief. We can all use more stress relief in our life. You know, it helps us understand. We're all searching for that peace of mind. And how can we find it if we're constantly caught up in everyday activities of our daily routines? And this, why would you want to? You're more in control, right? You're telling the mind to be quiet. Take a coffee break. Have a cigarette. I got this. So you're in control more. Although that's a funny topic. We'll come to that later. And then also, you're filling a void of love. This lack you have. This disconnection that I felt. Maybe you felt it too. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you're always searching externally, and it can be found right inside. So that's reasons you would want to meditate. And let's just talk about vibration for a second, because that could be difficult for people to understand if it's new to them. Sorry, the red marker's the only one that's working. It's not erasing all that great. No water in here. There we go. let's explain vibration, everybody. And I'll explain it from a scientific standpoint to start off with. If you're a skeptic or whatever, and you don't meditate and you don't understand connecting with spirit and the quantum, everything is vibrating. We can look to anything solid and know that down to its core, it's made up of atoms. And these atoms are protons, electrons, neurons. And they rotate around the Earth. Just like the solar system, just like we rotate around the sun. The thing is, electrons are so far away, almost further than the distance from here to the sun. And they're vibrating. So nothing is ever really physical. It's always vibrating. We're just perceiving it in a low vibrational state because we can actually touch something. Now, here's an amazing thing is that 4% of the whole known universe is physical. That's a rarity. Every day is a gift. That's why they call it the present, that we're able to experience that. So if it's only 4%, everything else is in this other field. 96% is in fields that we can't comprehend with our peepers to say, let me use a scientific method right here and see if this rings true on an equation that equal on both sides. So it's tough to get you in the mindset of, I want to meditate to get to those benefits. But if you can see it from a scientific standpoint and know that the space between electrons, protons, and neurons is farther from the Earth to the sun, and that 4% of the universe is only physical, and it's a beautiful rarity, then it should be easy for us to get to this 96 other percent, right? So I just want to explain that vibration because the 3D vibration is a very low vibration, right? That's why we're able to have physical stuff. We're able to see, touch, smell, taste, and hear it. Where was my notes in here? So we were asking the question, it was like, well, why would you meditate, right? You get stress relief out of it, you get understanding, you're able to get to this vibrational place and kind of, be in control a little bit more, telling your rational mind to chill out, man. Like, can you stop thinking about if I left the stove on, who I gotta pick up at a certain time, what bill I gotta pay for like 10 to 20 minutes so I can just connect with who I am? And then I hear this a lot from new people. They're like, I can't do it, whatever, it's too hard. They're not looking at it from that scientific point, right? So let's ask ourselves the question, why would you exercise? I mean, I spent a lot of time in the gyms. I used to promote health clubs all over the country. It's a great time. I live in it a lot. But why would you exercise, right? You're going to lower blood pressure, cholesterol. You're going to increase energy level. You're going to release endorphins and feel better. And when I told people to come in, I was like, all you got to do to come in to exercise is like 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time. If you watched a movie in 1 week, you like movies? I was just, yeah. You watch a movie once a week? Sure. Cool. That's all you got to do. So if we're only going to give our body 90 minutes, why wouldn't we do the same thing for our mind? Why wouldn't we look at our mind and say, oh, I've got to go to the gym for my mind? Don't I want my mind to be stronger? Don't I want to find balance? So if you look at it like that metaphor, I think it'll make more sense for you. So I don't know, how does one meditate? You know what meditation is for? Buddhas and Californians. And I know, I'm sure if you're watching the video, you've either meditated before, I'm sure you know what meditation is, right? Somebody calms down, they go, oh, and they're breathing and close their eyes, and something must happen to them because it's never happened to me, per se. And it's like, you've got to understand the calming of the thoughts is such a powerful deal, and this is the hardest part. Okay, in the beginning, people are gonna you gotta quiet your mind. And for me personally, like I've done meditation since I think it was '07 when I really started doing it on a daily basis. But then you go, I can quiet my mind anytime I want to. It's not doing shit. I can do that whenever. And that time becomes never. I did it on a consistent basis, has amazing experiences, loved it, and then I went back in my routine, the pattern, what the body was more comfortable with. So, calming your rational thoughts down. I remember there was a guy came to speak to us at the marketing club at USF. He's like, wait till you get older. And I'm driving here and I'm like, oh, this is like a contact sport, Dale Mayberry, because, Florida drives very rough. Then he's like, wait, did I leave the oven on? Wait, did I send a text message? What about that email? What did that person say this for me? And you're just going to get caught up in your thoughts more and more and more. And to control those and say, hey, shut up. I'm the one that hears my thoughts. I'm not my thoughts. And they can chill out for a minute because I'm that powerful out of the 3D, because this is inheriting this avatar in the body here, in the physical, is only one part of me. But to calm that down and tell it, hey, this avatar might be in trouble because it's running on a subliminal routine of protecting me in a biological state. And if I shut my senses down, all my outside senses down, the body's defenseless and it gets very scared. So being able to calm that thought process down is so difficult. And so how do you do that? And I'm going to recommend bilateral beats right off the bat. Bilateral beats, think of it hearing the test. Beep, 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 beep. Where'd you hear it at? And what it's doing is it's very low beeps like that. Just think even like a rain pattern. And what's that doing is it's creating electrical currents going from your right and left hemisphere. And it's also, you'll find many of these on YouTube, they're guided meditations. So instead of you just sitting in a quietly lit room, and you put your phone on silent, and you go, I'm going to try and do this. For real, I'm really going to try. And you sit there and you're breathing, but then you can't stop. You can't stop that hamster wheel. That dude is rolling. When you use the bilateral beats, creates those different electrical currents over both hemispheres instead of you living in the left hemisphere, the analytical one so much. And then you're going to get guided as you breathe in, take in all the love and joy. And as you exhale, gray smoke of fear, anger, and aggression. So these things can help slow down that rational mind. I think for me, preferably, my best time is like right after a workout or first thing in the morning. And why would you do that? It's like exactly when people would come to the gym and they I want to get back on track. I got high blood pressure. I want to lose some weight. I want to feel good about myself. I remember I used to, cool, all right. Well, when you get here, when do you want to work out? Oh, I'll be there after work. Okay. So you haven't exercised in forever, and you're going to make it here after all this bullshit has hit you from the day. I mean, conservatively, I always like using 50,000 thoughts in a day, and this is conservative. It's just a nice round number. I like to use it. So you had all this happening in the day. You had a sales pitch going on. You had a meeting with your subordinates. Somebody stepped out of line. Blah, blah, deal didn't go, whatever. Your wife's yelling at you. You got a soccer game later. You going to make it at 6 o'clock to the gym when you haven't exercised forever? Probably not. Chances are slim. If you come first thing in the morning when you wake up, and I always tell people, I'm like, especially if your parents, or maybe you're just whatever, you're in a house with a bunch of people, or in my case, I was a caregiver, and I was like, I woke up first thing at 7 a.m., I'm like, dude, I'm going to the gym, because I need time for me. I need to jam some songs. My mind is going to be calm, right? I haven't had all this stuff happen to me yet. I just drove to the gym. I woke up and drove. And I'm able to have a better mind-body connection. People will come in and they'll be like, yep, push, pull, And that's not going to be effective. Not as effective as creating a mind-muscle connection, because everything in your upper body you're going to use your arms for, right? You've got to focus on pumping your chest up, or just using your shoulders or your back. And if you've worked all day, 8 hours, and you've had all this nonsense happen to you when you come in, it's going to be very difficult to connect with a mind-muscle connection. Similar with meditation. If you went through all that in a day, you think it's going to be easy for your rational mind to calm down for 10, 15, 20 minutes? Probably not. So the best time I would recommend is like either right after the workout or right when you wake up. Because your mind is calm. It's chilling. It's almost in alpha already. An alpha state, for an example, is when you're driving over an hour on the highway. You've got a destination that's a little further away, and you're driving, and then you get lost in thought, and you're like, oh my God, I'm driving. So that's an example for you. But when your mind is calm, is the best time to meditate. And like I said, I started doing the Supermind Evolution System, it's been over a decade ago. It had bilateral beats and a warning on it. It may cause seizures. Not that it did, but video games could cause seizures, whatever. But I would do it and had great experiences. And then I would be in and out of it, in and out of it, in and out of it. And I had amazing things happen to me and reach other dimensions and places. But I had always been searching spiritually to get someplace or to be fulfilled or find my purpose and mission, per se. And I've used DMT, if you're familiar with that. It's dimethyltryptamine, or if you're familiar with ayahuasca, it's a condensed form of ayahuasca. And DMT is produced naturally in humans in your pineal gland. It's produced naturally in most plants and animals throughout the earth. We have it, but we have an enzyme in our stomach that kills it on contact. And it's mostly released during life and death experiences, birth or near-death experiences. Now, through meditation, they said, through Kundalini meditation, you can release DMT naturally. Because this is an amazing gland that we have that has crystals in it that activate, and you're able to see through your third eye into that non-physical, that 96% of the universe that's made up. You're able to see the rest of the 96%. So I just went through this intensive labor process. I built that lean-to pavilion 30 by 20 with Michael, lights on, my hiking partner from the AT. And it was insanely difficult for me with my MS and physical disabilities, and then like just dealing with the mental pressure of being screamed at directly or indirectly. And I started to meditate again, and I did a nice one where I grounded myself. And if you're familiar with grounding, that's when you take off at least your shoes and socks and you touch the earth straight up on its skin, bare. And I did my normal Kundalini meditation, which I like, and I was able to think more. I thought of different thoughts to release the DMT. And so just picture, here's me. And I'm grounded, no shoes or socks. And I'm listening to my bilateral beats, and it's guided. But then I also thought of the earth. Because I thought of this conscious being that's so much more ahead of me. It's so advanced that it's breeding all this life. I mean, think of all the species of plants and animals that we have in this world and the diversity. It's amazing, right? So it's going through changes as well. And we just live on the surface. We're fleas to this thing. So as I'm meditating, I'm thinking of all the vibrations of the earth coming up through my first chakra. And then I'm feeling the energy of quantum or source coming through my crown chakra, right? And then through Dr. Joe, he's like, to really have the experiences or change your regular patterns and routines, you need to open up your heart chakra. And through one hand, I receive, and through the other hand, I give as it goes through the heart chakra. So I'm doing my breathing exercises, and I'm imagining all this beautiful love and gold energy just smacking me right up here and just holding it. And then I'm feeling the energy coming down from the crown and hitting me here too. And as I breathe in through the heart chakra and give right out. Now, once I get into a state, which now I can get in very quickly because I've done this for a long time, and probably after 5 minutes, what will happen is I'll put my hands on the end of the chair and I can feel out of body that my hands are no longer functionable, so to speak. So I know I'm getting there. So now that I'm getting towards the Kundalini part of the meditation, maybe I'm 15 minutes in, and I've been doing my deep breathing, I'll put the lock on, right, on the root chakra. And as all of this is hitting me right here, I'm locking it down. And all the crown energy is coming through, and it's staying right here in the heart chakra. And then I crunch my abs up, like Dr. Joe says. As I take that deep breath in, I hold it and I crunch it. And then, boom, I just see all of that shoot up into my pineal gland. And then I slow my breathing down. And my chest and my shoulders just give way, and then it opens up. And I'm able to see the fractal patterns and the beings when I flooded my system of that chemical by a physical means, right? It was a physical means. I had a lighter, I smoked it, it released it. I was able to vibrate faster and see through the crystals. This way it was non-physical induced. This way it was, I was the luminous being, the higher self, not Stephen Koss. And I was able to shoot it up there and release it as I was grounded. And in this first meditation, when it happened, I opened my eyes. I was sitting outside by the thing. My buddy was next to me. I didn't even know he was there. I wasn't even in my body. I was just like, oh my God. I couldn't talk. I was shaking. And I mean, it's almost harder than coming out when you use it in the physical. You use it in the physical, it goes, and you come back and you're like, I'm back in 3D. Because you lose sense of ego, who you are. Your ego's gone. And I felt that way where it was like, I didn't have the womp, 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 but it was like everything was double. And then it finally centered. And then I breathed again, and I was shaking. And I just need to get up and walk. I was like, I cannot talk yet. It was very hard to get back to. But the grounding, I think, was a major big deal in that. And also maybe the sexual energy too, I didn't have sex for quite some time. There was 3 weeks of sexual energy built up, and I think that might have helped as well. So let's just go over some techniques if you're having trouble, right? I know it's super, super difficult in the beginning, and especially if you're not using bilateral beats, you're going to have a really hard time, unless you're so physically exhausted at the end of the day that you can't, lift your arms and stuff. So some tricks to overcome it, right? First, bilateral beats. You gotta use these. They'll shut down that bullshit that's going on, because they'll be like, you do your breathing and it'll talk to you. The guided meditation will be like, all right, with every breath you exhale, you're feeling lighter and lighter. So you can just focus on that. And with repetition comes everything, right? As people come to the gym, I'm like, you haven't been here before, right? No. Did you figure out how to drive here? Yeah. So you'll know next time. Oh, you learned something. And as you keep learning, you keep doing it over and over again. Oh, I know how to get to the gym. Right at Liberty, left at Union, and it's there on Skip Street. Boom. It's the same thing, but the bilateral beats help in the shutting down of those thoughts. You can't stop. So use those. The good thing that I do is picturing myself. So like before you go in and you start the video, look at everything in your surroundings, like a ninja would, right? Or a CIA spy came in and be like, yeah, I know the exits here, here, and here. I know the outlets are there. I know the windows are here. I know what color the chairs are. I know what I look like. So this helps calming down the rational mind. And this is actually where I get lost, and I would get to the place of quantum and fractal patterns. Is I'm breathing in, and I'm like, what do you look like right now? But I'm facing opposite way, and I'm up high, and I'm looking down on myself. I'm like, what are you wearing? What does it look like? What do your chakras look like? What chair are you sitting in? What's behind it? Is the window open? If you start picturing these, this will close down again. You're thinking with your rational thought, but it's slow, and you're getting into self instead of, is the door locked? Are my windows open? Is it raining? So picturing yourself really helps. Vince gave me a great technique, okay? You have your 7 chakras from your root to your crown. In a way, you can open those. I'm laughing because he did it so loud in class. Asked him a question. He's an old man, right? And he's like, A-E-I-O. And that vibration right there, he says, will clear your chakras and open up that energy so you can get to your pineal gland. So it come down through the crown so you can take up from the earth. A-E-I-O. So when you're doing your breathing, you can yell this into your head. And isn't it amazing that you yell out loud and you hear that, A, and you yell it in your head? You hear it just the same. The body doesn't know the difference. So you can use that technique as well. But really the problem you'll have is finally you'll make a connection, right? You'll be like, I see something. Your third eye will open. And then all of a sudden, boom, you're right back here because it's jolting at first. You're like, oh my God, I did it. And then boom, the rational mind kicks in. Regular consciousness, and you're Steven. And it's like, ugh. I've gotten to the point now, I've had so many of these extreme meditations lately, it's almost taking so much out of me. I mean, I did one today. I did the first half hour, and I was like, nah, I'm doing another half hour because I feel so much love coming through. The visuals weren't as strong as they normally are, but I felt so fulfilled. And that's, if I didn't do anything else today, I'm happy I did that. And it's hard to get there. I mean, God, like I told you, it was like, what, 2007, 2008, when I really started doing it and getting to different places and understanding my breathing techniques, understanding my chakras. Now I'm understanding the DMT, these are new things to me, and the pineal gland was new to me, and understanding that the earth is also a conscious being greater than me, and using that energy too. But when you finally get there, you're gonna slip right back and get sucked right back into your body. And don't get discouraged by that. Just know what was possible, and it was so amazing to you that you could explain it. So you had to go back to the place that you know to explain. I know that this carpet is gray. I know the walls are white. I know this is solid, and that's what makes sense. And that's why you come back. Don't try to make sense when you're meditating, and don't try to get anywhere. Right? Just do your breathing and know that you're just connecting to your body and your higher self afterwards. And then don't expect anything out of it. If you don't expect anything, you'll find that it comes easy. It's when you're like, the rational mind is still wanting. It's like, I want. I need. It's already there. You just have to shut up and let it happen. But because now you're interested in this and you know the techniques and you're trying hard, you're trying too hard. Don't try hard. It's already there. Just breathe, and the best thing I could say to you is just be a witness. Be a witness to I am. True self. And just breathe that light in. And relax. And if you do that, it's going to happen for you, but you got to be consistent with it. It's just like going to the gym. Hey, I went in, there's multiple times I've been in the gym, it ain't working. I ain't getting that pumped up, the blood's coming in, but it ain't feeling good, and I feel weak. And I'll still make it through, and I feel like, God, I'm defeated. What happened today? It just didn't work. It's okay. It's not always going to work. But you got to just keep going through it. You made it through, and it didn't work. You made it through, and it didn't work. Dude, that's better than your best workout, man. Because your best workout comes so easy to you. You're like, man, I'm strong today. Boom, boom, boom. And then when it ain't coming, you're like, I ain't strong, but I don't know, I'm getting through it. So just try to get through it. Understand that the non-physical makes up 96% of the universe. This is a rarity. It's a beautiful thing, and appreciate it every day. Don't try too hard. It's already in. You got to be woke. You just got to awaken to what's already in front of you. You don't got to fix yourself. You're already good. You just didn't see this stuff that was right beneath you. And it's because this guy up here thinks he's running your world. And he's not running your world. He or she is not running your world. It's just one party. The subconscious is 80% of your mind. So that's who you want to talk to. This other guy's just running. Blah, blah, blah. So don't get caught up in that. Just want to explain meditation to you guys because I've tried to talk to people in my circle and they don't meditate. They never had those experiences. I wish I'd bring more aboard. Mighty, mighty souls. Let's go. But I think we'll end on that. Hope it made sense. Smile big, shine bright. Peace.